So you were trying to pull for Mommy Rosaria, but you got this guy instead. Ruining your pity, ruining everything you worked so hard for, trying to save up for Eula's supremacy. After countless nights of thinking how hard you got cockblocked, you finally came to accept that this child of yours is the neighbor's kid. To his ridiculously long skill cooldown, to the way he tries to act cool in the wind when there is none, and when he runs around like a donkey not knowing what to do when his skill is on cooldown. And if you're wondering why your child is so different from other childs, well, you just didn't spend enough money to get him to C6. But don't worry, because I am a certified parental advisory, account executive, nursing assistant, manager, coordinator, straight up dog shit trainer. I will whip up your child into the dream child you want in this video. So let's just get right into it. Although Childe may have one huge flaw, which is his very long skill cooldown, he can be so amazing when he has his ability up. I only have him at C1, so it's not exactly a huge difference between C0 Childe and C1 Childe, but my child is absolutely doing perfectly fine. I use him in Spiral Abyss all of the time. Honestly, I wouldn't even try to attempt Spiral Abyss without him. I mean, just take a look at this. Absolutely amazing. Of course, I did have Venti to help along with that, but even without Venti, Childe is still very strong. Childe really shines when there's a lot of enemies around. Rather than a single target, it's best to use him in a place where it has a lot of enemies to deal with, because of his Riptide. If you don't know what Riptide is, it's that blue marker that is on the Ruined Guard. Whenever you hit an enemy that has a marker, it will deal an additional AoE hydro damage, as you can see with the 857 being procced. Which means that if you have a target right next to each other that do have the Riptide markers, it will deal 857 on each target as well as anybody that is around them. That is how I caused a chain reaction, killing enemies when I'm not even near them. This is why Childe can really pop off when there's multiple enemies grouped up into one place. But enough on how he plays, let's just go ahead and talk about how he's built. So first things first is his stats. These are going to be my Tartaglia's stats. Yours can be very, very different from mine, so just keep that in mind. Yes, I know it's bad. Critical rate only at 60% and critical damage is absolutely bad. It should be over 100, but I am just so lazy to the point where I kinda don't even want to farm for him anymore. As you guys were seeing, my child is still doing so much damage with these trash stats. As for my Hydro, it's just a simple 90. But even with these stats, you can still be doing a lot of damage with Childe. This is why Childe is one of my favorite DPSers. In terms of the weapon, of course I have the Ami's bow on him, but if I did not pull this on the standard banner, I personally would be using something like the Stringless. Elemental Mastery is absolutely important on Childe, especially if you're going with the Childe Beidou build comp. If not, of course you can use the Windbloom Ode, which is the new weapon that you got for free from the Windbloom Festival. And of course, there are some other options just like the Rust, as well as the Verenicent Hunt as well from the Battle Pass. If I had the Rust and no 5-star bow, I would actually go for the Rust instead over any of the previous selections I just said. And for the Verenicent Hunt, honestly, that's such a fine choice too. Because of the effect it has on the bow, it's technically a small Venti ult, so you can also use that as well. In terms of the artifact, you want a 4-piece Heart of the Depth. Now, if you guys didn't know this, when Childe was first released, we didn't have these sets. We were stuck on building it with Noblesse Oblige with Childe, or putting something like the Wanderer's Troop on him. But now that we have something like the Heart of Depth, especially in Dragonspine, this is the artifact you want to be farming if you got Childe. Do not try to go for something else, please. This is just the best for him. If you're curious on why my Childe is so bad, here you go. Here are my stats, and it's so sad to see these stats. Like, oh my god, this is so horrible. And this one too, this one's actually not bad, but it rolled into defense. And for the helmets, in terms of the constellation, I have him at constellation 1. Now, question is he worth the constellations? Abso-fucking-lutely no. He is absolutely horrible. The first constellation does help a little bit, just a little bit, but it's not enough to the point where I would want to get it. The only reason why I have him at constellation 1 is just by luck. I was trying to pull for Beidou. I got his first constellation by total luck. But let's say you are a whale. What constellation are you going to try to aim for? Constellation 6. If you have Childe at constellation 6, he is absolutely a beast. Honestly, this is a different character at this point. One of his big downsides is that whenever he uses his E or his elemental skill, there's a very long cooldown with it. But if you have him at constellation 6 and you use his ultimate while he is in melee mode, your whole E just basically refreshes, meaning that you can stay on his melee stance like forever. And that is why for his constellation picture it is a whale, because if you whale for him, he's going to be good. In terms of talent, the ones that you definitely want to be leveling up is his E first, which does a lot of damage, and of course that is the main reason why you have Childe. And then comes second of his normal attacks. You want to be leveling up his normal attacks just so he could deal a lot more damage with his E. And then last but not least, his ultimate, because his ultimate is meh. Okay, you're mostly going to be using his E and his basic attack. That is why you want to have his ultimate being leveled up last. In terms of team comp, this is what I personally run. Tartaglia with Beidou, which is absolutely amazing. You guys already saw how crazy the Tartaglia Beidou comp is. And Beidou actually has a kind of a downside where her ultimate costs 80 energy to be able to activate, which is a lot more than average. Like with Venti, you can simply just press E, you have his ultimate up already. So that is the problem with Beidou, is that it just takes a long time for her ultimate to recharge. But with Razor here, he will be able to provide energy particles for Beidou as well as be the second DPS, meaning that when Tartaglia uses his E, he has such a long cooldown that I need a second DPS, which can be Razor. Razor will be my second DPS. Also, being able to provide elemental particles for Beidou, making the Tartaglia Beidou team even more stronger. And basically, Venti is almost Tartaglia's best friend. Venti can basically pick up all of those small guys and group them into one place, making Tartaglia's elemental skill even more broken than it already was. Okay, so there you have it. This is my own personal team. Of course, there are different teams that you can put as well. Something like this can also work with Xianling's ultimate, Tartaglia E. Oh, beautiful. Xinqiu E, Tartaglia, Xiangling ult. Oh, even more beautiful. With all three of these, broken. You can also do something like this. You can pair Tartaglia with Zhongli with his team comp, just because Zhongli can almost legitimately work with any team comp. You can even do something like this, where you can perma-freeze with Kaya and Xinqiu ulti, as well as Tartaglia. You can do this as well. But of course, once again, I really recommend, if you guys have Tartaglia and Beidou, to level her up. She is so good with Tartaglia. But anyways guys, I really hope this video helped you into building Tartaglia, how to play him, what his playstyle is, etc, team comp, everything that you need to know. Go ahead and like and subscribe and comment down below what character you would like to see me build next. Anyways guys, it's been Yubifier, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!